Overnight, 2 Russian missiles struck a city in eastern Ukraine, killing 7 people, injuring 80 others. Officials say those missile strikes happened within 30 to 40 minutes of one another. The second missile striking right as first responders arrived to help people. There's also this new CNN reporting this morning on Ukraine's counteroffensive just weeks into it. Western officials tell our colleague Jim Sciutto they're concerned the assessment of the battle to regain territory is increasingly sobering. Illinois Congressman Mike Quigley just recently returned from meetings in Europe with U.S. commanders training Ukrainian forces, told CNN, quote, "Our briefings are sobering. We're reminded of the challenges they face. This is the most difficult time of the war." Joining us now, retired Army Major Mike Lyons. Do you agree with Quigley's assessment? I mean, he was meeting with the people that are training the Ukrainians.
Yeah. So it's 2 months to the day since the counteroffensive started. They've gained maybe 10 square miles or so, not a lot, but attacking frontal fortifications reinforced by minefields without air superiority, not a lot of times in history you can show that's been successful. I think we've set the expectation high for what the Ukrainian military can do, but they're not fighting a combined arms fight. They're not fighting a counteroffensive the way that historically shown has been successful. Not their fault, but they're doing the best they can. So I'm glad to see we've got some sober reality with regard to the situation there.
Abrams tanks will be there in the fall, so that will be obviously helpful. But as Jim's reporting, that it's not about hardware. It's not about weapon support. So how much can that help?
Because the Abrams tanks are going to get there at a time when the rainy season is going to start. And the way tanks are deployed effectively is when they're used for shock effects. And if you're Russia, you're seeing where those tanks are going to go, because that's exactly where the offensive priority is going to be at that time. And what you'll do is you'll move troops there to counterbalance them. There's only 31 tanks or so showing up. They're not going to be that much of a difference maker. There's huge logistical tooth-to-tail ratio that goes with those tanks. Will they make a difference? They're going to allow more Ukrainian crews to survive, but those tanks still don't have any more capability to go through minefields or do other things. So, again, without the combined arms, without the air superiority, I think this is still going to remain a stalemate.
There's a real question about what Ukraine's going to need from the U.S. in terms of additional funding, additional weapons, et cetera.
Right.
And the U.S. public sentiment on it is changing. There is really striking reality in this new CNN polling. What it shows is that a majority of Americans disapprove of another support package for Ukraine. 45% approve it. Should Congress authorize more funding to Ukraine? 55% oppose it.
Yeah, this is what Vladimir Putin wants to happen if he hangs on to this land that he has right now that he's seized illegally, gets through the fall and then the winter. We're now into next spring here in our political season, presidential elections running. Who knows what the politicians will say, because this is really where the money's going to come from. The Ukraine government needs a commitment from NATO, from the United States, saying we're all in for however long it takes. The problem is that doesn't jive with our political cycles here, and the United States leads the way with all these economic packages as well as the military packages. So that's what Putin is hoping that will happen, that we'll lose interest.
So you're saying if the U.S. fails to authorize further funding, you think its Western allies will follow?
I'm not sure the Western allies have the capability and capacity to make the difference that Ukraine is going to need in order to sustain itself. They need Patriot missiles. They need things that only come from the United States and U.S. defense contractors. And you can't crank that machine up quick enough to get some of that material there at the time. Look at the tanks. I mean, it only took us 8 months to get 31 tanks to Ukraine. They need 400 if they want to have any kind of offense.
So we learned overnight a detail about new textbooks in Russia that will address the invasion of Ukraine as the addition of new regions to the Russian Federation. Just kind of a light brush, ignoring, not even using the special military operation language that they've used on the global scale. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, they're betting that this is going to end with a new border, that Russia's going to take that land that they have. I mean, they had that land that they controlled since 2014, mostly in Crimea and the Donbass region. And now they control that eastern portion of the Dnipro River. It creates now a DMZ, a border situation of 2 hostile countries if this thing stops tomorrow, if the Russians decide from a military perspective. The other thing, though, it does put a little bit of a problem with Ukraine joining NATO. We can't bring a country into NATO that has a border conflict. So this is one way that Putin will potentially keep NATO from Ukraine by saying there's going to always be a border skirmish here, and then this is all part of their plan.
Major Michael Hines, thank you. Nice to have you at the table. We usually get you in Washington or at the Wall. Thanks
Yeah.
for being with us.